the end. If there's any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat and we can answer them afterwards. So I think let's start. So just on the agenda, we'll be doing an opening and welcome. So Carol will do that. I will talk a little bit about marketing and communication. We will then give over to Anthony, who will talk about the crime. Security update will come from Pierre. I know Pierre did struggle a bit to log in, so hopefully he is able to make that. Then we've got Phoebe here as well. We'll talk about environment and parks. After that, Betsy will speak to us regarding municipal matters, and then any questions that you might have after that. So Tani Carol, over to you. Tani Carol, you are muted. Oh, sorry, we can hear you.
Thank you, Manuel. Once again, welcome to everybody. It's so encouraging to see all the people and the names that I don't even know. So welcome to you as well. I wish I could see all your faces, but I think it won't be long. Then we will all gather in the Bethel Chapel again, hopefully. So please use the chat facility as Manuel said, so that we can hear everybody's contributions or questions, and if there's not time to answer everything, then we will communicate with you afterwards. So thank you once again, Betsy, for being with us. We know that you've got a hectic program. We appreciate that you are here, and I hope that we will all understand that it is not you that must fix the pipes. So thank you for the work that you are doing. I just want to open with a prayer and then we can start. Thank you, Nina. Yes, Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much that we can gather here in your name today. Thank you that we know that you are with us, that you guide us, and that your mercy are with us every moment of every day. We pray for those in our community that are sick, those in our community that are without hope. We pray that you can help them and help us to see them and help us to know exactly what we can do to help our fellow man in our community. And we pray for this meeting, be with us and guide us also tonight. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you, Tani Carol. All right, next on the agenda, marketing and communication. I will be taking that slot today. So a couple of things that I would like to mention. So number one, a couple of you might have seen or might have tried to access the GarsCom website. If you do, www.garscom.co.za, you will actually see that the website is under construction. So we will let you guys know when our new revamped website is up and running. So please look out for that. So please don't be concerned if you go onto the website now and you see that it is under construction. We are busy with the content so that we can give you guys a brand new website with all the information you require. Secondly is if you are not on your GarsCom Street WhatsApp group, you are welcome to, if you know who the admin is of your WhatsApp street, you are welcome to contact that person and ask them to please add you to the street WhatsApp group. If you do not know who your admin is in your street, you're welcome to send an email to inquiries@garscom.co.za, and I will be happy then to give your details through to your street admin. When you do send an email to me, please just include your address so that I know which street you are in, your name, and then obviously your cell number so that we are able to add you to your respective street WhatsApp group. Something else that I would just like to mention is Facebook. So adverts on Facebook. So you guys will see I post this quite often, that adverts on Facebook. And if we talk about adverts, those are any service that you are selling, any product that you are selling, any property that you are selling, etc. Those ads are only allowed on a Thursday or on during our virtual driveway sale. So our virtual driveway sale is normally the entire last week of the month, also depending on when the month ends. Like in February, it was last week. So last week from Monday up until last week Sunday. For the whole week was our virtual driveway sale. And then for that whole week, you are welcome to post your ads on Facebook. Hopefully, when the pandemic is better, or I almost want to say non-existent, because that is what we're all looking forward to, we will be able to host a real driveway sale and not a virtual one. But for now, please adhere to only on a Thursday or the virtual driveway sale. Unfortunately, if any ads are placed on Facebook outside of those days, we will be removing those ads. Next, we are working on a marketing campaign to tell the community about GarsCom and what we do. Although there's people in our community that know about GarsCom, they don't always know what we do and what we stand for. So we will be working, or we are working on a marketing campaign. We will do an outreach to the community so that they understand what GarsCom is about. So please look out for that. One of the other things we are trying to do is we are launching a drive to increase our GRA or GarsCom Residents Association members, because then there's just so much more that we can do in the area where it comes to security or anything else. Obviously, the security and everything we put in place, those do cost money, and a lot of that money comes from the contributions that's made monthly by our GRA members. Just for interest's sake, just so that you guys understand why we need to do a big drive, is currently only 15%, 15 like in 1-5. So 15% of our residents in GarsCom are GRA members, and they contribute to 100% of what the entire community benefits from. So there is a lot that we have already done with the 15% that we have, but there is still so much more that we can do. And therefore, we will embark on a drive to increase our GRA membership. Another thing is, if you have not yet received a GarsCom calendar, there is still a couple left, not a lot, but there's a couple of GarsCom calendars left. So you're welcome to contact the GarsCom control room if you would like to get a copy of the GarsCom calendar. Please, can I just ask that everybody mutes their mics, please? Thank you. So if you need a copy of the calendar, please contact the GarsCom control room. In the calendar, you will see that in July, we actually have our Potjiekos competition. So please look out for communication that will come later on regarding our Potjiekos competition, which will happen on the 23rd of July. Then for any other queries, please feel free to email inquiries@garscom.co.za. If there's anything you would like to know, if you would like to become a GRA member, please email us at inquiries.co.za. If you would like to join the patrol team that we have, please send an email to either inquiries@GarsCom, or you can email patrols@GarsCom. Something else I would like to mention, and all of this is within or in our calendar. So if you have a GarsCom calendar, in June, we will have another domestic and gardener security training, which is actually very important because a lot of times those people are targeted when they work at your house. So every year we have these training for all the domestic and garden workers. So that will happen in June, but we will be communicating that closer to the time. Then just the last thing from my side I would like to mention is our next meeting will be on the 28th of March. You will see that in the calendar as well. Tannie Carol did mention that hopefully we can see each other at Bethel again, but we will never do away with Zoom because we understand there are a couple of people that maybe cannot always attend the meeting at the Bethel Chapel. So even though we go back to the Bethel Chapel, we will also have a Zoom session where other community members can join us. So that is it from my side. Again, just the one thing I want to reiterate, if there's anything you need to know or questions you have, please email us at inquiries@garscom.co.za. That is it from my side. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Anthony Scharf now to talk about the crime. Thanks, Anthony.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, please, if I can just ask if you can mute your mics. On the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there's a mute button. If you can just please click on that, we seem to be getting quite a bit of background noise there. Meanwhile, I've got one or two slides. I see I can't share when somebody else is sharing a slide. I don't know if we can do
Anthony, sure, I will stop sharing quickly. All right, see if you can share now. Maybe next time you can send your slides to me and I will work them into my slides.
Okay, I just want to see if I can get all my slides here quickly. Excuse me. People, if you just look at the crime that took place over the last month, I can't believe it's already a month that we already analyzing the crime tendencies for our area. As you all know, we are part of Sector 3. So what I've done is I'm just comparing tendencies to our sector. I'm not comparing it to the whole of the Garsfontein CPF at this stage. That I think I'll do on a quarterly basis. But if you look at the priority crimes that have taken place in our area over the past month, a total of 30 priority crimes were reported at the station for Sector 3. The total for the complete CPF was 116 for the month. Of those 30 crimes in our sector, GarsCom experienced three crimes, of which one was theft of motor vehicle at the doctor's office in St. Bernard. The other was at the same place, was an attempted vehicle theft there. And then we had a vehicle theft out of a motor vehicle at the spa center, where people stopped next to the person that went to go and buy something at the spa, and then they got into the car and they made off with a laptop. So as you can see there, you can see our crime looks compared to the sector. Theft out of motor vehicle, the sector had 9, of which we had 1. Attempted motor vehicle theft was 1 in the sector, which was ours. And then theft out of motor vehicle, we had 12 there in total, and GarsCom had the 1. Burglaries, you can see we had no burglaries in the time period that we're reporting on. House robberies, also we had none. The sector had 2. Business robberies, our Sector 3 experienced 1 business robbery, we had none. And if you go down there, you'll see there also robbery with firearm or weapon other than a firearm, 2 in the sector, nothing in GarsCom. Look at the total of GarsCom, we're looking at 3 incidents that took place there. If you look on this pie chart that I've done here, the purple section represents the 30 crimes in the sector, the whole sector. Guys, if you can just mute your systems, please. The blue section there is the 27 crimes in the sector, and then the 3 for GarsCom there. If you look at that, it gives you an indication of how well we are actually doing compared to all the other areas. So we're doing actually very well in our sector, our blocks compared to the other areas. What is rather concerning is if we look at the crimes, the high crimes, which are theft of motor vehicle, theft out of motor vehicle, burglaries. In the last analysis that we've done across the cluster, which consists of Silverton Police Station, Littleton, Sunnyside, Brooklyn, Garsfontein, etc. We're 6 stations in that cluster. Valeria also being one, Noord being the other. In the Garsfontein precinct alone, there's been an increase of 14% increase of motor vehicle thefts in the Garsfontein precinct. Now, I'm not talking GarsCom. We're talking the Garsfontein precinct. That's the whole area that the station serves. The vehicles that are highly sought after are the Hiluxes, the Fortuners, and then the Etioses. What we want to ask the people is, if you drive these vehicles, please don't park them outside in the streets. They're taking less than 2 minutes to steal these vehicles. Try not to take these vehicles to high-risk areas like shopping malls, or if you're going to visit people and the vehicles are standing outside, rather not use a high-risk vehicle if it's possible. I know it's not always possible, it might be your only vehicle, but if you're going to use the vehicle and it's standing outside, please make sure that it's secure, that the security company in that area is doing regular patrols while those vehicles are standing there. Also, these vehicles are being stolen out of the premises. So if you've got vehicles standing outside, like the Hiluxes, the Fortuners, and we see a lot of these cars standing outside on our patrols at night. And it's just a matter of time before one of those vehicles are going to get taken here. If you're parking them outside your garage, inside your gate, please make sure that your gate has got another padlock on. So it just makes it more difficult for these guys to get hold of these vehicles. Something else that stuck its head out again, it's an old, not an old crime, but it's been a previous concern, was the theft of motorcycles. The gang that we were looking for a couple of months ago, maybe a year or two ago, stealing motorcycles were people with 2 Quantums, or the long-based Quantum taxi, a silver and a white Quantum. They've got no seats inside other than the driver and the passenger in the front. And what they're doing is they're stealing motorcycles wherever they can find them, even out of properties again. And then they push them down the road and they load them into these Hiluxes and off these Quantums, and off they go. So those of you that have got motorcycles, please just be aware of that. Try and safeguard your motorcycle as far as possible. Now, the most concerning increase that we're having a look at across the last couple of months, or a couple of weeks actually, which is actually escalating, is the aggravated robberies. There's been a 40% increase in robberies, and I'm not talking house robberies or business robberies. We're talking robberies like street robberies, common robberies in the streets, people being followed, etc. There's been a 40% increase in these robberies. And these robberies are normally occurring with weapons, or weapons other than with firearms and weapons other than firearms, which are things like maybe knives or some other instrument that they can actually hurt you with. What we are concerned about is some people are saying, yeah, if these guys confront you, fight back. Okay, if you know how to fight back and how to assess the situation before you do that, I'm not saying do it. Okay, because a common robbery can easily turn into an attempted murder, a murder, or an aggravated assault. So it's not advisable for people to actually try and fight back. If they want your cell phone, they've got you in a corner, give them a cell phone, because you can replace that. You can't replace your life. And also people that jog and cycle and pedestrians, try not to wear your headphones or your earphones when you guys are out on the street, because these guys are running up behind people and grabbing gold chains off their necks, because they're not hearing these people approach them. So please, if you're jogging, riding your bicycle or walking, rather not put your earphones in and listen to music, rather listen to what's going on around you, and just be aware of your surroundings. If there's any strange people, phone the control room, let them get the guys out to come and look. Strange vehicles, people just following you home, just report it immediately to the control room, because that's the first point of contact. We can get somebody out there within a couple of minutes. So please just be aware of that. It's something we're all going to have to sort of become a bit more streetwise as to walking in the streets, and just seeing that it's a 40% increase is actually concerning. It's just a matter of time, and we just pray it doesn't happen, that somebody is going to get hurt when it comes to a common robbery or a street robbery. Complexes. There's been questions that have been asked about complexes and security areas. Now, complexes are experiencing crime, and what is happening there is people are going into the complexes, they're driving in, they're not waiting for the gates to close before they move off, or they're leaving the complex, they're not waiting for the gate to close. Some of these complexes are taking up to 45 seconds for the gates to close. People just drive out and they don't look to see if there's anybody hanging around that's going to put their hand in front of the sensor. So people that are in complexes must also be just a bit careful when they go in and out. Rather wait for the gates to close before you pull away from the gate where they're going in and out. One of the other questions that was raised again today in the street group is, how does GarsCom compare to a boomed off area? Now, I think when we're talking boomed off areas, we need to have a look at what is a boomed off area. You get various models of boomed off areas. A boomed off area, if you take Secura Park, for example, and that's a good comparison. Secura Park is a totally boomed off area where you stop, your license gets scanned, very much like the Woodhills and the Mooikloof of the area. Now, that is a boomed off area. A semi-boomed off area is an area where your booms are standing open for 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. Anybody can come in and out there. So it's not a boomed off area. It's a partially boomed off area. When the booms are down, anybody comes, they swipe their hands, they can go through. On the weekend, there was an incident in one of the semi-boomed off areas. In other words, where the booms are down, you stop, you swipe your hand, the boom goes up, you go in. Person went in there and spent a bit of time in the area, drove out. And they only realized after the person had left that this was a wanted vehicle. So there is not that control. So when you compare GarsCom to a boomed off area, you can't really compare. But if you look at the stats and the figures, we are up there amongst the safest non-boomed off areas that there are. Our crime compares very well to some of these partially or semi-boomed off areas. I think places like Woodhill, Mooikloof, these totally boomed off areas, yes, they do experience crime because there are criminals are actually living in those areas, and then they commit crime in those areas. So yes, there's crime all over, whether it's a boomed off area or not. But GarsCom, I can confidently say, if you look at the figures, we see where these crimes are taking place. And the amount of complexes that we see on the tendencies that we look at every Monday, there's a lot more complexes showing on those figures. And I think if we look at the figures that I just showed you, we're actually very blessed with what we've got here at GarsCom. And an active, involved community is a safe community. So for all you guys, everybody sitting here is part of this community. You're part of this group that's contributing to the success. So guys, thanks very much. And if there's any questions, we can ask them afterwards. Thanks for the time, guys.
Thank you, Anthony. If you'll just stop sharing, I will start sharing from my side. All right, Anthony, thank you very much for that. Next up, we've got security. Pierre, over to you.
I hope everybody can hear me, and good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Pierre. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Basically, I just want to add on to what Anthony just said. He actually started talking about a few things that I want to talk about as well. We've had quite a few challenges. I think everybody that's here, we are aware of the power problem that we had, and then the water problem that we had. And in the control room, we tried to help with the supply of water as well to the people. So we've had our challenges, and then there was a Wi-Fi problem. All of these are sorted out now, so we deal with it as it comes. And at the end of the day, we're here for the community, and we try and help even beyond what we're supposed to do. Right, just coming back to things that Anthony talked about, if we all hold our hands together and we help each other and we look out for each other, it's actually much more difficult for crime to happen. Unfortunately, not everybody has that same view, but most of the people we find do have that view, and we're very glad that they contact the control room to deal with this and to give out information and send out the security guys from National to help out on these things. When we see people on the road, we immediately contact the control room and they send out the people to do something about that. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere at the same time. So we do what we can. And the one thing that helps us a lot to cover these these areas where we're not driving at that particular point is cameras or cameras. So at the end of the day, the cameras help us a lot. Now, just to give you an idea, we have different kind of cameras. There's certain cameras that can even recognize the number plates of vehicles coming in and out. We also have a support system called Sniper that where we can, as soon as we pick up a certain number plate that is identified as a criminal vehicle or a wanted vehicle by the South African Police Service, then it gets picked up, and that signal can go immediately into that system, and the South African Police can react on that. We would like to do more than what we currently have. Our next target is basically to do something about the borders of our area. Now, for that, again, with what both Manuel and Anthony talked about, we need people to become part of GarsCom. The more people that is a part of GarsCom and can also help each other and look out for each other, the better it is for us, and the easiest it is for us to control. And secondly, it is more difficult for crime to happen because we can immediately identify what's going on here. So we need to combine everything that we have. We need to combine the patrols, the security, the control room, the cameras that we have, and we need the financing to do that. And that's where everybody needs to do their part in order to make it easier for everybody. Basically what Anthony said, if we compare ourselves to everybody in our neighborhood around us, then it is within 2 or 3 kilometers from us where a lot of other crime happens, and it doesn't happen that often in GarsCom. So we're definitely achieving something. More patrollees, more cameras can do a lot. And if you want to commit a crime, where are you going to go? Where it's the easiest to get away with it, and it's definitely not so easy to get away with it in GarsCom. So we would like to expand what we have here, and definitely, if we look at the figures, we can already see what's going on. Okay, I just want to come back to what the cameras can see every day. So just to give an idea, at all the stats that I'm going to give you now is for the St. Bernard entrance. All from the dates, the 1st of January till the 24th of February, all the cars that came in was 442,308 cars. That was taken on the 24th. Okay, so it's not until today. Then the general amount of vehicles that come in per day is 5,816 vehicles in a day. It's more than we normally think about it. It's amazing. In and out, if we take all the cameras per day, in and out into our area and out of our area, is 19,898 during those days that I mentioned. So these cameras pick it up. They pick up if there's a stolen vehicle. They pick up if there's something suspicious. We really have very good information that we can give to the control room, and they can escalate it to South African Police. We can do a lot if we have more of these cameras. We can do a lot if we even pinpoint certain streets that we also want to put cameras in. And we're also thinking about getting to a stage where we want to put something on the table for the public of let's say, for instance, a particular street. And then we would like to monitor those cameras. The people in that street help financing those cameras. That's at a different stage. So there's quite a few plans that we would like to do in the future. It all depends on what is our income in GarsCom. So you see that the money that's already there is very well spent. We have very good stats that came from it. So we're doing our best on our sides, and we're doing a tremendous job on the patrols and the security company at the moment. Thank you. That's all for me for tonight. If there's any questions, you're welcome to ask afterwards.
Thank you, Pierre. That was very informative, especially those stats about the number of vehicles entering and leaving our area. I would have never imagined that is actually, you know, the number of vehicles or the load that is coming into and out of our areas. And if you think about it, our GarsCom control room monitors those cameras 24/7, looking for all those vehicles, looking for suspicious vehicles, looking for suspicious movement, etc., and then acting on that. Thank you very much for that, Pierre. Next, I'm going to hand over to Phoebe, who's going to talk about the environments and park, or the environment and parks, and Phoebe is also our environmental director for GarsCom. Thank you, Phoebe. Over to you.
Thank you, Manu. Good evening, everyone. This is just a reminder about keeping our environment at its best and how we can all contribute. I am just going to highlight a few things in the various activities that we are involved in as far as keeping our environment clean is really concerned. I'll start with the recycling. We still have our partner, Blue Swill, who are actively involved in the recycling in our area. And we would like to urge you to participate by registering with them. And I want to suggest that you really go directly to them, because this is more efficient and quicker. It hasn't been really easy to come through GarsCom for one reason or the other. But please go directly to them. The information will be put or posted on all our various platforms so that you can really be part of this important activity. Under the Garden Friends, we are still going strong in this area. It's basically about sharing gardening ideas. Not much has been done so far, but I believe that a lot could be done by using our imagination. Under the pandemic circumstances, we haven't been able to meet physically, but there's a lot we can do virtually, really. One thing I just want to highlight is that we have plans to start a community vegetable garden. The aim of this garden is to teach members how to grow vegetables and thereby encourage them to really do so in their backyard gardens. And secondly, and more importantly, everyone is welcome to eat from this community garden. I thought we had secured space in Great Dane Park with the municipality until I was informed this afternoon that vegetable gardening is not allowed in the parks. So we are back to where we started. We'll continue looking for alternative space. And I had a brief chat with them, and they said, look, we can look around in the community and be able to get something going in this area. Another thing I want to emphasize is the parks. We have been planting trees in Great Dane Park that is both the community have contributed and the municipality. We hope that this tree planting could be extended to the streets where necessary. And I just want to suggest that maybe those members of the community who wish a tree planted in front of their house could contact us, because I don't think we just want to go about planting trees everywhere, because most members of the community have actually removed trees from in front of their houses. So it would be futile to really go and just plant anywhere municipality feels like doing so. So it would be better if a member requests for a tree to be planted in front of their house. The next thing I really want to look at is just the borders. We are still unsuccessful in getting permission for our partner to clean and advertise along the borders. Keeping the borders clean is really the responsibility of the provincial roads department. I'm talking about the major roads like Solomon Mashangu, Atterbury, and Hashfontein. It's not the municipality per se, but the provincial roads department. But as we all know, they have been quite irregular in keeping the borders really clean. I believe that, and we all believe that clean borders contribute to security of our community. So we will not give up until we find a lasting solution to this. We have a new project manager. Her name is Anneke. Please, if you wish to participate in any environment matters, do contact her, or you can also contact me. Her details will be put on our platforms for this matter. I thank you so much for listening to this short brief. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Phoebe, for that. We appreciate that. In the chat, I have posted Phoebe's email address, recycle@garscom.co.za. Please note that even though it says recycle, you can reach Phoebe on that email address regarding anything related to the environment and park. So please feel free to contact her on that email address. And Phoebe, I think you've already answered the question, but at the end, there is a question posted in the chat that you can maybe answer for us. For now, I'm going to hand over to Betsy, who will talk about municipal matters. Thank you, Betsy. Over to you.
Thank you, Menville, and thank you again, everybody, for allowing me this opportunity. I think I should start with a few things that caught my attention while Phoebe was speaking. And the first one, yeah, I'm not going to talk about vegetable gardens and things, but let me talk about tree planting. We must realize that currently there are a lot of trees on the pavements that are causing great damage to infrastructure, especially where pipes are concerned, and the roots grow around the pipes and they squeeze them and then they break. So when you are planning to plant trees, please make sure that the trees are planted so that it would not in future interfere with infrastructure, because that again means burst pipes or that we are without electricity, etc. Okay. But tree planting is very necessary. So, but just keep that in mind, please. Then I have this morning again written to the provincial department regarding the fact that they are not coming to the table with cleaning the sides of Solomon Mashlangu, as well as with Garsfontein, going up Garsfontein, the Villa Boa. There are areas that they are just not cleaning and they are not maintaining, and asking that that they should do it, and then that it should be maintained on a regular basis. I have emphasized with them again that it is it should be prioritized for the reason that it poses a great security risk. We see cable thefts, we see people hiding and climbing over walls. We see hijackings because people cannot see. People just hide in the long grass, and you are not aware of them. So I have again taken this up, and I am going to send it to the MPL as well, so that they can then take it on in the provincial legislature where that is concerned, because we've been asking since December and nothing has been happening. I think they started cutting a little bit of grass right there somewhere on Solomon Mshlongo, but it wasn't done well, and it's not nearly sufficient what they have done. Then I believe that the people would have noticed that the teams, they did fix some potholes last week, and that the teams were supposed to have been in Lassie today. I hope that they were starting to fix not just the potholes, but also the holes that were left behind where water leak repairs were done. So I've been in council today, so I will again tomorrow drive around and have a look at everything. Then where streetlights are concerned, please remember that the potholes that have been escalated to me or sent to me that I have escalated were on the list that I have given them. I do not necessarily know of 100% all the potholes. So if it wasn't reported and I wasn't aware of it, then it might not happen. But so please keep me informed on that. Street lights, please let me know that if you have reported it and I've escalated it, that they are actually doing something. I do not necessarily drive around at night looking at all the street lights. Now and then I do, but I don't do it so they might repair it today, and I drove last night. You understand? So please just keep me up to date where that is concerned. Then where the water pipes are concerned, yes, IDP is coming up. I will be circulating later on in the week the IDP wish list, where people can then express what their wish list would be for the IDP for the next financial year. I know that a lot of pipe replacement is on a lot of people's lips, but there might be other areas where capital projects are also needed. So I will need your cooperation in that so that we are prepared as a community to attend the IDP meetings, and that we can give our input, and that we can put forward what the community see as the things that are the capital projects that should happen over the next 5 years. Then where backfilling is concerned, there was not the backfilling contract as well as the contract concerning the repairs of the pavements, as well as you call it operator, that those were allowed. Yeah, thank you, Manuel. Were allowed to lapse, so they had to start a procurement process all over again. But I know that the backfill contractor has been appointed, but there is quite a big backlog, and I've made them a list of where backfilling hasn't happened, so that they can do, and that list I escalate every day until I see that there are results. And if it is not going to happen, I will again take it up with the MMC as well as the RED. Moving on from backfilling to speed humps. I had a meeting with the senior roads engineer, Frank Lambert, about just over a week ago. and I specifically invited him for various reasons. That the primary school's traffic congestion, and then there are some problems in Winifred Yell that has been, especially concerning the retirement center or retirement village there, that's been hanging in the air for 14 years. And then, of course, speed humps. He promised me that he will forward me the contact details of the people that we should contact and motivate speed humps too. I have again asked him today and he hasn't come back to me, so I will keep on asking him until he does. He said to me that in larger streets like Winifred Yell, and I assume that it would be streets like Jacqueline and St. Bernard, the preference is not to put in speed humps, but maybe rather other traffic calming measures, like, for example, circles, etc. So, but I think that the people must please draft their recommendations, and then as soon as we can forward it to the correct people, because I have been forwarding it to Mr. Lambert, but there has been no joy coming from him. So he told me there are 2 people currently that are working with this. The one is going to be moved to another department. So he will bring the other one in because that person apparently will take over from the other one. We get 2 speed humps per year. And they also say that they these days prefer to do other traffic calming measures. He explained a few to me, but I think that maybe that is something that will work in Winifred Yell, and I see that they have done that in Jacqueline, where they have made sure that there were only division between the roads in the middle. They have now made the roads smaller by painting certain, how can I say it, certain measures onto the road to make sure that people stay in one lane and that they only go over into when they're going to turn off, so that there isn't, so to assist a little bit, to take the congestion away, but also on the other hand to assist to slow the people down, and that the people are not supposed to be passing one another, etc. So that is what they are looking into. But I believe that when the people are complaining about the speed with which people are traveling in St. Bernard Street, and we will have to involve the TMPD there, not to do a traffic assessment, but in the end of the day to please come and sit and catch the people that are, and find the people that are not adhering to the traffic rules. I think, and then my last thing is also regarding parks. There has been some complaints from residents that there are a lot of papers and things that are thrown around in the parks. I believe that the community is using the parks, the community, it's each and every one of us responsibility to make sure that we keep our parks clean and tidy, and that we do not mess in the parks. So we can arrange a community cleanup, but in the end of the day, the park will be dirty or littered again soon if all the community members do not buy in to assist to keep the parks clean. So maybe there can be a campaign, or maybe we can think of making sure that there's enough dustbins around, and that signs are put up for people to please remind them that they should please make sure that they do not litter within the park. The parks, I know that the grass cutting in the parks have been very slow. We have also taken the people there to task. I have also not been satisfied with the way that they have cut the grass. I don't know if I'm wrong, but surely the grass should be cut shorter than what it's cut currently. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I can somebody can speak to that. But I feel that the grass should be shorter and more even. But maybe the type of grass that is planted doesn't lean itself to that. Then I will take any questions if there are questions. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Betsy. We appreciate your time and for speaking to the community. All right, guys. So if there's any questions, please can I ask you to type your questions into the chat box. I will read the question out and we will answer those questions. If there are a lot of questions, we will answer as many as we can. So I think I'm going to start at the top. I did see there was one question that came in. So this is either Phoebe for you or Betsy, maybe for you. I apologize if I do not pronounce the name correctly, but Modihi asked, does Tshwane cut bushes on the Solomon Mashlangu Road, or is it an individual responsibility?
No, it is not the COT responsibility, it is the provincial. Remember Solomon Mashlangu, Garsfontein, or the greatest part of Garsfontein, as well as Atterbury Road and De Villabua, they are all provincial roads. So the provinces is supposed to make sure that it is cut. And that was the first item that I spoke to, or after I spoke about the trees and things, is that I wrote again to our Parks Department to communicate to the provincial department, and I've CC'd the MPL to make sure that they do cut. And I emphasize the fact that there are many disadvantages because the maintenance on the sidewalks are not done properly. Thank you.
Thanks for the answer, Betsy. We appreciate that. I do not see any other questions coming in. Wait, there's another one that came in from Skippers. Good evening. Is there perhaps any feedback on load shedding, referring to the undertaking by the mayor that our area will not be subjected to load shedding? And that's from Tarin Skippers. Betsy, over to you.
Okay, thank you. For the question, currently we have not heard back. The city of Tshwane has again applied for an exemption for Mooikloof, and has again motivated why Mooikloof should be exempted. We have not heard back from Eskom in this regard, but as soon as there are feedback, and I thought about it this afternoon while I was busy dealing with the water crisis on the other side of Solomon Mashlangu, this is something that we will have to take up with the mayor again, to ask, has the city received any answer, because nothing has been communicated to us as councillors where this is concerned.
All right, thank you for that, Betsy. I appreciate it. Just before we go to the next question, there is also a meeting that GarsCom attended where the mayor and some of the other employees from City of Tshwane spoke to the community, where they spoke about the water issues, service delivery, etc. The mayor was there as well. I've uploaded that meeting onto YouTube. I will be happy to post that link in the chat area, or you're welcome to email inquiries@GarsCom and I can send you the link. All right, our next question from Harold. What's the general progress on the claims for those 2 weeks without power? Betsy, is that something you can answer?
Okay. Perhaps we do on the load shedding, referring to the undertaking by the mayor that our area. Okay, not that. What was the question again?
It is, what's the general progress on the claims for those 2 weeks without power?
Okay, I unfortunately cannot answer that question. You will have to follow up with the department where you put where you have submitted your claims to, please. They deal with this, and I haven't had any feedback on that. I do know that the people are complaining because they do not get feedback. I have asked, is there anybody else I can escalate it to try and get an answer, and I have not yet been given an answer where that is concerned either. So I will follow up from my side, but I am not sure when the payments are going to be made and how the assessments are going at this stage. I think that there were quite a few claims that came in, but the progress on the process, I'm unfortunately not able to share because I don't know.
All right, thank you for that, Betsy. Before I'm going to ask Tannie Carol to speak about the message she posted there, but before we get to that, there is an email or a message from Maggie. Evening, regarding GarsCom membership, can we check if some properties are rented out, hence the 15%? Maybe in our street WhatsApp groups, we can check that. Maggie, yes, I'm sure you can do that within your street group, or you can contact your admin. Those houses that are rented, so it's either that the owner can pay that monthly or contribute that monthly GarsCom fee, or the resident staying there, the renter can also contribute that. We don't dictate that. Then again from a Skipper, not a question, but a thank you to Betsy for all the hard work, in particular keeping us updated during the previous power failure. Thank you for the kind words. Then from Pierre, GarsCom Security, there's a tree that is splitting right next to a power substation in front of his house. He's worried that this tree can fall on the substation, causing a power failure. Who can I contact reporters to report this in order to prevent more damage, please? Betsy?
Yes. Please take a photo and then report it through the normal channels to get a reference number, and then you escalate the location of the tree, the photo of the tree with a reference number to me, and I will take it to the Parks Department so that they can come and cut the tree.
Thank you, Betsy.
Or trim the tree, depending on what is necessary. They don't necessarily like to take out trees, but if it's necessary, they will take out the tree. But if they can just cut off certain sections, then that is what they will do. But they will come in and they will make an assessment, and then they will act according to what would be best suited.
Thank you, Betsy. Pierre, what I will do is you can just liaise with me. I will give you the contact details for the channels to go through. And once you have the reference number, etc., you're welcome to send it on to me, and I can escalate that with Betsy, or the control room can escalate that with Betsy. What I would like to do now is just hand over to Tannie Carol. If you maybe just want to talk a little bit about the message you posted in the message box. Thanks, Tannie Carol.
Thank you, Michael. I think a lot of you already know, because we posted a ad for accommodation for our married couple in the control room. Now, those of you who know the people in the control room knows that Anton and Lisha is really doing a stunning job for us. Unfortunately, the complex unit that they are staying in at the moment is being sold, must be sold this year, and they can only stay there until the end of June this year. So they are in need of a new accommodation. So anything in GarsCom, please. Anton is disabled. He cannot drive that far. So please help us to look for some place. One bedroom unit would be enough. 2 bedrooms will be even better. The problem is when one of them are working or one of them must sleep, the other one is on an off day. So they need to be at least 1 bedroom. And then they've got a little dog, so it must be pet friendly, really a little Borsjoentjie, so it's not a big dog. So please help us look for a unit in a complex or at the house, at the granny flat, and any house. We will really appreciate. Thank you very much. You can just write to inquiries at GarsCom if you know about the place. I will also contact the people if necessary.
Thank you for that, Tannie Carol. We are 3 minutes over the time, so if you need to jump off, feel free, but there is one last request that came in from Anthony to give us a quick update on the taxi complaints. Anthony, thank you. Over to you.
Guys, sorry, it completely slipped my mind. I've been in conversations with SAPS, the station commander, Colonel Solomons, as well as Senior Soup Henk de Kok regarding our taxi issues. Colonel Solomons has taken it upon himself to meet with the 2 taxi associations, Menlyn and Willows, to try and sort out all these issues with the taxis in our area. What we're asking is if you do have a problem with a taxi, please don't confront it. Just get the registration number, and whether it's a Menlyn taxi or a Willows taxi, and just send that, just private me a message with those details, and I will then send it to them and they'll take the necessary action. Thanks, Menville.
Thank you, Anthony. That then concludes our meeting. There is a lot of information that I posted in the chat box, so you're welcome to go through that. I've also posted the City of Tshwane's toll-free number there if you need to log anything with them, or there's an email address that you can use in order to log. Once you have logged something and you get a reference number, please send that reference number plus the issue through to your street admin or to inquiries, and we will escalate that with Betsy. So thank you everybody for joining the meeting. We appreciate that. And as mentioned, we will see you again on the, I think I said, sorry, let me just look at the calendar again. Thank you. On the 28th of March, I will send a link out closer to the time. Good evening, everybody. Have a good night. Be safe, and then we will speak again. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.